Hello everyone, welcome to this week's Life and Death section. In this section, we'll be talking about the big L shape. The big L shape is a very commonly seen corner that happens a lot in real games, and many players make mistakes on the big L shape, and let's see why. So let's first look at the upper right corner. Black's turn to play, and Black decides to basically the correct move for Black is to play the 2-2. White blocks the connection, and Black plays the 2-3. White has no choice but to sort of make an eye over here, but it's not really an eye because now Black can just play the 1-3. Notice that White cannot play this move because this would just be immediate ko, right? If White somehow thinks he has time, Black now just connects and White is dead. So really the only move for White is to extend on the first line, and then Black takes and White connects, and now we're in a weird situation called a 10,000 year ko. Not sure why 10,000 years, but I can tell it's wait. Black has to spend a lot of moves if he wants to start the ko, but definitely not 10,000 years. So what happens is that both players will play moves outside, and then at some point when Black gets time, he will start filling out all these liberties and eventually start this ko. But the timing of the start of this ko is very important, and it's really Black's decision as to when to start ko, because White can never get rid of the ko, right? So White tries to get rid of the ko while Black just plays outside. White can never do this connection because this will just be a dead shape for White. So very interesting ko that is very complex and requires a lot of reading. So this is the result of a big L shape that is that looks like this. What about the left upper corner? Now the difference is Black now has a stone here. Well, it turns out that Black has a really smart move that is played 1-4, and this is the correct move to kill this corner. White has no choice but to block, and now Black can squeeze the ice space. When White blocks, Black Ataris. White, happily says, "Oh, I made a ko over here. You have to fight this ko." But turns out that Black does not have to fight it at all, and White is dead. White cannot filling any of this liberty. It would just be a self-Atari. So this is the way to kill the upper left corner. So it's a clean death. There's no refutation whatsoever, right? If you play this one, I can just take you, and this is dead as well. That is the answer for the left upper corner. What about the corner over here, right? The bottom right corner. Well, this one is a slightly simpler. Now, Black can squeeze the ice space. When White blocks, Black can come in at 2-3, and White really has to defend at 2-2, right? Anywhere else, it's just obviously dead. And now Black can squeeze the ice space, and then White blocks, and then finally, Black has this really smart honey, and it's making great use of the fact that White cannot come in here. And if White decides to connect and Black can connect as well, this will just be dead for White. So fairly simple. What is not simple is this one, the last one, which is the bottom left corner. So now Black's best move once again is also to clamp in at 2-2. White can honey, and then black plays this one. Now, this is where most players make mistakes, right? Regardless, is a Dan level player, the 5 Dans, 4 Dans, even 6 Dans makes this mistake. They just play this one, and then black plays this one, and then we come back to the same corner as this one, and it's a 10,000 year ko. It's not a severe ko, but it's a ko that white will eventually have to deal with, and it could be a game changer when it's complicated and when it's tight on the board. Now white has a great move that makes use of this outside liberty, right? When white has an outside liberty, it makes all the difference. White has this 1-3 attached. This is amazing, because now if black comes down like this, white can play this one. This is a seki, right? There's no way. White does not need to worry about ko anymore because it's a seki. And you might be asking, well, what if black plays this one? Isn't white just dead? Like if you play this one, I take. If you block here, well, I can just connect. This is just a famous dead shape, isn't it? Well, when you play this 1-4 move, turns out that white has a really, really good move, that is to drag the stone back. It looks like a suicide, but it's actually the move that saves the group. Black pretty much has no choice but to take it, and white now makes use of the corner to take it back. And black is unable to kill white at all. Like there's no way to kill white. If black comes back, white can make use of this liberty. Without this liberty, it's not possible, right? If there's black stone over here, you'll be taken. So with this liberty, I'm able to do this. And you cannot connect. You have to connect here, and I can make myself alive. Well, what about black? Black plays this one. Well, the answer is simple. I just block your connection. When you take, I connect. When you try to squeeze my liberty, I can just come back and capture all the black stones and make myself alive. So yeah, the key move here, right, that you need to learn today is probably, if you have not seen this one, is to pull the stone back. And it's almost, it looks like a suicide, but it's a brilliant move that can make your corner alive. So this will be the conclusion for the big L corner. So let's take a look at the context for which this L-shaped corner can happen. In some games, we have this kind of setting, right? White presses from the outside. Black realizes he needs to protect corner, so he plays the second line jump. White plays the jump, right, to expand this side. And then black decides to play somewhere else. Now the game keeps going, but eventually when white gets the time, he can play the second line kick. And then the correct response is for black to squeeze, white connects, and black jumps out. So this is an excellent move that both fix the corner and try to have as much influence towards outside as possible. Now, what is happening in the corner? Let's take a look. White can clamp in. Black is forced to block. White extends, once again, forcing move. Another forcing move, and another one. And now white connects. Right? This is the context for which the big L shape can happen. And as we have done our life and death problem, this is a clean death. So black's corner is perfectly safe. So this will end our lesson on the big L shape. I want to add something extra to to this particular corner. I just said black's corner is perfectly safe, but is it? You know, there might be some skeptics out there, like saying, well, is it really safe? There's nothing I can do? And then they read and read and read, and eventually, if they read hard enough, they'll find something, right? So just let me show you what they will find if they read hard enough. Is that at this point, white has this really, really resilient move to honey on the first line. And now, if black tries to block this, there will be a ko. And this is not ideal for black, right? This is quite a heavy ko for black. And if you play the block on the first line, white can make this very resilient move to make a ko with you. So eventually, if you can't fight a ko, you can. But as black, I'll tell you, you don't need to worry about it because you can just make a kick. And then white's move is to play the 1-2, and this will make himself alive. But you can just peacefully play the honey and then kill this stone. The result of this is white successfully grab himself the corner, but black gets huge compensation outside, and this compensation definitely overweights the loss in the corner. So this is not a good continuation for white at all, right? I'm not going to do the count here because of time constraint, but I'll just tell you as a conclusion that this invasion into the corner for white is definitely a bad idea, right? It's not worth it. The compensation you give to black outside it's way more than what you got in the corner. So you would only use this variation in extreme cases where you think your opponent does not know about what's going on, or you are losing the game and you just want to make chaos, right? Those are the two situations that I can see white potential making this sequence of moves in the corner. But otherwise, with this shape, black's is perfectly fine. His position is, he does not need to worry about the corner. His corner is totally safe, right? Because of the life and death knowledge that we introduced today. All right, so this is this week's life and death section. I hope you liked it. Feel free to subscribe. If you have any questions, you can comment below and let me know, and I will answer your questions as the best I can. All right, I'll talk to you guys next week.